Welcome to a Fight Camp edition of Bootcamp Raw. Today we have two guests. One of them is Mikey from Liverpool. This is his second time at Fight Camp. He's had amazing results and he's a real character. And alongside him is Gemma from Northern Ireland. She's a little Northern Irish pocket rocket, also a real character, and she has quite a lot of experience in jiu-jitsu and karate. And I think you'll find her story interesting. I hope you enjoy this edition of Bootcamp Raw. Thank you. And welcome to the next episode of Bootcamp Raw, where I have two Fight Camp guests, and that is Mikey from Liverpool and Gemma from Northern Ireland. Welcome to the podcast, guys. So over to Mikey first. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you do, and maybe why you've chosen to come to Fight Camp?
Well, I'm from Liverpool. I'm a long-term boot camp visitor. And probably like 3 or 4 months ago, I was given an opportunity to come to my first first Fight Camp via Bootcamp. Wasn't really sure what to expect. Didn't want to come out of my comfort zone from the regular Bootcamp. And I've just completed, or just about to complete, my fourth Fight Camp.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty happy with it. Yeah,
cool. And over to Gemma. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, so I'm from Northern Ireland, a wee village called Ballygolly.
You can never tell.
No. I guess I work as a nurse, and during COVID it was a bit crazy, and it's still crazy. And I think it was 2 months ago I came to you and did Fight Camp, and I absolutely loved it. And the reason I loved it is because I'm used to training. I used to doing triathlons, running, cycling, swimming, but this challenged me in a whole different perspective. And that's why I'm back again for more. And it's just challenging each time, and you mix it up, and it's just brilliant. I love it.
So there's a big distinction between the both of you, because Mikey has previously done a lot of boot camp, and you came straight into Fight Camp, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I went, I actually did like a week of boot camp before, and then decided, I heard about your Fight Camp, and I've done like just karate and Brazilian jiu-jitsu years ago. And I thought, no, this is something I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Mikey, you've done quite a lot of normal boot camp at Team Boot Camp. You've been both long-term and you've done some short stints there. And what do you think the biggest differences are between the two programs in the way they run? Obviously, there is a big difference in the fact that you're doing a lot of pad work, but
I mean, the biggest distinction for me is it's an 8 o'clock start, guys. Like, you don't have to get up for these fasted sessions. There's none of this 7 o'clock stuff. Breakfast at 8 and then first session at 9. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, when I did my first Fight Camp, for the first maybe 2 or 3 days, I really kind of worried about the decision. I really questioned it. I'm not a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm someone who's at boot camp to lose weight. And I kind of thought, have I put myself in the right place here? Is this for me? I had no previous experience of Muay Thai or boxing or anything like that. And if I'm honest, it was a little technical for me.
Yeah.
And then when I kind of like fell into it, I just really started to love it. The technical aspect comes quite quickly. It's not too technical, but it's more technical than I've ever really experienced before.
Yeah.
And when you start kind of actually feeling how those small technical how that advice kind of really affects like the power of a punch, and how you kind of complete those movements. It really is really beneficial. The weight loss at the end of the week from Fight Camp really kind of put the cherry on the cake for me. I mean, I think the Fight Camp, when I did it, was maybe my 4th week of boot camp this time round, a few months ago. And whereas you get that really kind of big loss the first week, my average kind of went down to maybe 7 or 6 pounds a week. When I did the Fight Camp, even though I felt like I'd had a completely different workout, less running, etc., my weight loss went up to about 11 pounds for that fight camp week, which really shows that kind of mixing it up a bit and kind of exercising in a different way can maybe shock the body in a different way. So it's really sold it to me that week, yeah.
And that's the thing with it on the Saturday, where you used to at bootcamp just going straight in, you know, getting beasted. We do spend that Saturday where it's a lot more coaching, because we have to, you know, we do the intro to the boxing where it's basics on footwork. And we do the intro to the Muay Thai where it's basics on footwork and the techniques. And so the first hour and a half or 2 hours of Saturday, you actually don't really train that much, but you learn a lot, which sets you up for the week then, doesn't it? Like you said, it allows you to get more out of it and to progress as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, I actually think that aspect of it is what put me off for the first kind of second, because I'm expecting to be beasted, and because it wasn't, I'm sure other boot campers might have felt like this, or the long-term boot campers. You kind of feel you're not getting the workout, but actually the results at the end of the week showed how powerful a fight camp can be, and then the coaching points after doing 3 or 4 of them, they really kind of hit home how those coaching points can affect the I wouldn't say the way I fight, because I'm not a fighter, but certainly the way I punch and the way I move. Absolutely.
And it's really clear to see when I watch you now on the pads. You know, you have got that basics, and it's just nice to look at and to see that progression within you as well. So, you know, if you were to go to a boxercise class now, you'd probably find that you're quite ahead of everyone else. You know.
I'd like to think. I'd like to think. I can feel my punch has got stronger. I can feel the power in my legs. I mean, I don't think I could stand on one leg when I first started. The kicking, but I can feel the power through my knees. And I've always had a problem with the leg as well. And I feel like kind of exercising that leg in a different way and more vigorously over the last few months has really improved that leg and the health of that leg.
That's great,
definitely.
So, Gem, with yourself, obviously you've done a bit before. Mm-hmm. That was evident when you came into fight camp. Yeah. People might think that you have to have done something before to come to fight camp. As you know, that's not the case. Nope. It's actually quite rare for someone to come in that has got the technical ability of yourself. With that in mind, have you still been able to get a lot out of the experience here and work yourself how you'd like to?
Yeah, completely. Coming from a sort of mixed martial arts background hasn't played any really to my advantage, because on the pads I'm good at, but what you broke it down on the Saturday, I'm not used to Muay Thai, and it's a different stance, and I found it so fascinating, just all of it, fighting from a boxing stance. Karate was completely different, and then going straight into Muay Thai, it was really, really good, and it challenges you so much. And it doesn't matter how fit you are, and it doesn't matter how unfit you are, because you just work at your own level.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoyed it, and the way that you mix the classes up, I love it. And then you just don't fight. You learn like techniques, and you actually look forward to it. Some people don't look forward till, like, I've done boot camp and they're like, oh, I have to run again. Whether it's everyone, people that haven't come from fighting backgrounds, or the likes of myself that has done small amounts, just enjoy it completely. And you mix it up. You do spinning as well.
We do. We've actually just come off a spin class, haven't we?
Yeah.
This is why we're looking.
He's beasted.
Well, these two popped back to camp to freshen up, and I'm still sweating. Although I did change t-shirt.
It was see-through when you finished that. Yeah, full on Ashna.
So we do spinning in fight camp, which we've just finished. So people might think like, why would I come to fight camp? Because I'm not there to lose weight. I mean, you're in good nick anyway. You're quite trim. What was your motivations for coming here?
So physically, I wanted to get fitter and stronger. Like I said before, I run, I cycle, I swim. Going to fight camp challenges me in a completely different way. And I find it harder physically and mentally, because there's so much techniques, but it's enjoyable. So I just love coming, and it's a great way to switch off your mind as well.
Yeah.
Mental break from everything, from life.
Exactly.
So it's not just the physical end of things. Hitting bags, wrestling you, like it's a great way to just switch the mind off, you know, and it's just good for your overall health and well-being.
Hitting the pads, there's just something so satisfying about it, isn't
completely.
there? You know, it just gets a lot of aggression out, it clears the mind. It's
and if you go, honestly, like it doesn't matter how fit you are, if you go like 30 seconds, not even like a 3-minute round, 30 seconds on them pads at full effort, you're gassed, like, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what aspects of the programme do you particularly enjoy, Mikey? Would you say, do you enjoy the boxing more, the sort of high intensity training that we do?
I love hitting the pads. That's a big sell for me. But I mean, you just said the word, the intensity of it. I mean, the session yesterday, I mean, I think it would frighten some people what we did yesterday. I mean, we did 9 Tabata sessions back to back. They included burpees, they included the assault bike, slam balls. I mean, it was absolutely brutal. But it's the age-old thing, isn't it? When you've got a gym membership, you hate going to the gym, but you feel on top of the world when you come out. And I haven't done a similar session quite a few months ago. In fact, Gemma was there. I mean, me and Gemma and I looked at each other. Gemma was ahead of me last time, and she'd just done the slam balls. And I mean, in that Northern Irish twang, she went, "Oh, in hell." That was brutal. I remember it to this day. It was absolutely, and then I did it behind her, and it just felt a little easier this time, and a little more satisfying. But the intensity of that entire workout and pushing yourself through it, that many Tabata sessions back to back, I found that. I mean, for a guy of my size, I found that an achievement, you know.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see as well, after everything that you've been through that day, and then to finish on a level of intensity like that.
Yeah.
Still be able to smash it.
Yeah, it was the last session of the day as well.
It was, yeah. You know, so it's what I call type B fun. So horrendous at the time, but good after.
And you feel amazing after.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah.
Type A fun is good then, and then you feel really guilty after. So like we're thinking about Mars bars or or a few pints. I like it, and then after you're like, it's definitely all type B fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
so
definitely, because even just because, you know, I've come in at a certain level of fitness doesn't mean that I don't push myself to 100%, but it also means the likes of Mike, who he's probably going to punch me afterwards, but may not be as fit as me. He can go at his 100%. And you see that in the group. Just because, you know, you could see someone and they maybe are absolutely smashing it and they're so fit, or you see someone that's maybe not as fit, you just go at your own level. And I think that's what's important about Fight Camp. It's what you can achieve. It's not what he, she, Ash can achieve. It's about what you can achieve, which is really important. And not only is there Tabatas, I really like the sessions that you do with the weights.
Yeah.
Which they don't do that in Bootcamp. And I think that is so, to me, weight training is really hard, but it's the fundamentals of good posture, good technique, good core. And I love that as well, aspect of Fight Camp.
We just get a bit more time, and there's less people. So I get a bit more time with you, and we can just pin things down a little bit more, can't we?
Yeah.
And it's important to note that a lot of it is obviously indoors, because we are boxing and doing Muay Thai. It's not overly practical outside, even though we do some boxing outdoors in the paddock. Most of it's indoors. So coming into the winter, I think it will come into its own in that aspect.
Definitely, like, because it's mostly indoor training. So over the winter, like, people don't obviously want to train outside and in the cold and get sweaty and then have to change. So we do most of it indoors here, which is brilliant as well.
Yeah. And it's important to note that not every day do we train hard. Like today's been a recovery day. We've been for a beautiful walk in the Shropshire Hills. Yeah. We went up Lawley. It was amazing. And what did we do Sunday?
My favourite thing. So we went for the most loveliest walk, and it wasn't like challenging. It was just a lovely walk. And then we got to go open water swimming, and I just loved it. I was a Power Ranger with my green hat.
Yeah, she dressed up as a lizard.
Something like that,
yeah. And I swam, and some crazy people jumped by 30 feet.
Mikey jumped off the tower.
Yeah, it felt like my breasts were flapping in the wind as I fell towards the water. It did, but it's great. I mean, it was Cards Mill Valley. We've been there a few times, but it really is a good day out.
Your recovery days are really good because they're proper recovery, and when you're working that hard, every other day here, you need that recovery and you need that team bonding, which is really good.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
It's important, isn't it, to emphasise how diverse the groups are, because there's so many people that might think, you need to be fit to go there. How can I go and do fight camp? I can't do that. We've got people that have never even put boxing gloves on, people that have hardly ever trained, some people that haven't trained for a long time, some people that are really overweight, some people that lack mobility, some people that are really fit. And the group come together and they all support each other, and everyone, like you've already mentioned, works at their 100%. So there is no pressure. And there's never any judgment. And there are some people that actually have come onto fight camp that can't hold pads because they just don't like it because it freaks them out. So we're like, right, you don't need to. We can give you something else. You can just manage a bag, watch people hit the bag and then swap over, and then you can hit the pads yourself. So it's always, did you notice that sort of environment and how supportive it was?
Yeah,
immediately when you came.
Yeah, it's very diverse, and you're very accommodating to that. Obviously, if a certain person can't hold pads properly, or do you have the fear of holding pads, then they can go on the punch bag, or the likes of people that don't like spinning can row. Not pointing any fingers here.
He has done a couple of spins.
I did. I mean, it really is it does take its toll on my bottom. But even today, I mean, I tend to row on those sessions. But I mean, even looking at my improvements over that, I mean, I did 10K in 52 minutes last time. I did a sub 49 today, so you can see that improvement, and it goes to show that when there's something that we're uncomfortable doing, or something like, for example, with rowing that I'm uncomfortable doing as opposed to cycling, spinning, that there is that ability within the group to kind of give us something else to do. It's definitely there. I was more than happy rowing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that I've talked to in our group that haven't done any martial arts and are absolutely loving it. Just because it's a mental break, and they absolutely love it. So there's people that came and just are going to come back, and we've already talked about it.
Yeah. It's interesting because on Saturday when we started, there was one lady in the group who was like, no, sorry, Ash, it looks really good, but I don't think it's for me. Can I join normal camp? And I was like, yeah, no pressure at all. She finished them couple of sessions, and then there was a little switch on. I was like, actually, quite like this. And now she's doing really well.
Really well at it.
Yeah, she loves it. And she's actually good, isn't she? Her techniques come on really well.
And good power, and just everyone's loving it. Yeah,
it's a good group.
Yeah, there's no one in the group that dislikes it at all. And in fact, when Gemma and I were on our previous fight camp, we kind of set up so we could come on this fight camp. We pre-booked it. Like I think it was 3 months.
Yeah,
I think it was three months in advance to kind of give ourselves another one to come to. So I mean, you hear other people doing that now. You can. It's actually it's really cool. Actually, isn't it? It's really.
I love it. I mean,
it must be great for you. To kind of,
because it's been my thing.
It must be very endearing for you to kind of, because it is your baby, really.
Yeah, I mean, and I've been in the fight game for about 21 years now. Obviously, I've competed in Muay Thai, and I've seen what Muay Thai has done for people, and I know what it's done for me as well. Because my life was a bit of a mess, and it was Muay Thai that sorted me out. It could have been anything. It could have been BJJ or anything I got into, but it changed my life. I loved hitting pads, and then this weird thing started to happen with my body. I'm like, Jesus, I got in really good condition. I felt mentally very strong, and it just taught me a lot of lessons. Training to fight, even if you didn't fight, just that level of intensity taught me a lot about myself and about other people as well, because it takes you to places where you learn to, you suffer, and from that you grow stronger, don't you? As you all know, because you've suffered a lot so far this week. But it's good, it's and it bonds you as well, because we all we all suffer together,
Yeah.
because I get stuck in where I can.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. What do you get from seeing other people kind of progressing that in just that week, Ash?
For me, it's the most rewarding aspect of the job, because I think if anyone's become a PT, it's got to be because you want to help people and you want to see them improve and change their lives. And God, here, it's like that, like intensified, isn't it, so much? And not just seeing people lose weight or get whatever reason they've come here for, you know, seeing them achieve that. It's also seeing people begin to be able to throw a punch properly and to be able to have that confidence where they think, oh, do you know what, I think I could defend myself now if I wanted to, and just think it gives people a confidence. And I think it helps people to be calm in a way that I've been around fighters a lot, and I've always found them to be the most calm, relaxed, non-violent people that you could meet. And I think it's because they understand what fighting's like, and they also don't have a point to prove. And I think if someone's going around being aggressive or intimidating other people, or is going out fighting, or as a bully, I think it's because they've got a lot of insecurities. And I think the best thing for them people is to teach them how to fight, believe it or not, because I think it would do them really well. And suddenly they realise, and they get that confidence, and it makes them less insecure. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no doubt.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just think my hope is for you guys when you leave here that you carry it on. You know, you do go to BJJ classes, you do go to a Muay Thai class and a boxing class, because I think there's so much there for people, and I do think there's a lot of people out there that could benefit from this style of training. And I would say to anyone that's out there that's listening to this, Fight Camp is for you.
Yeah, completely. Like, it doesn't matter what your fitness.
Yeah, if you're thinking boot camp, it's, that might be intimidating for people, right? Going running, big groups, out on uneven ground, especially coming into the winter. I'll have a look at Fight Camp. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I think, for previous boot campers who were in the comfort zone, I think it'd be great to try something different. I mean, I worried about it at first, but I mean, it's probably one of the best boot camp decisions I've ever made for the people who've never tried boot camp before. I mean, even taking the decision to come to a boot camp is huge in its own right. I mean, Fight Camp almost seems a level up, I suppose.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, I think Fight Camp for me, I think I'd prefer it as a first step now.
Yeah.
I think it's so different. And it really does kind of, it's like you said, I suppose I've had more of a mental break in these Fight Camp weeks than I have in a boot camp week. I can't explain exactly why, but maybe what you've just said about kind of fighters being a little calmer, maybe something about getting that aggression out on the pads.
Yeah.
But even though I do go to bed a little earlier because I'm so much more tired, I do feel so much more relaxed.
Yeah,
and like I've had a real mental break from everyday life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even like I suffer from hip. I fractured my hip a couple of years ago, and even like you accommodate each. Even there was girls there that had bad knees, and you accommodate. So anyone thinking about coming to Fight Camp, and if they have injuries, Ash will change the exercises up to make it, more fun, and that you can, do the exercise. Yeah.
That's a good point, isn't it? Because actually, if you do lack mobility and you have got some chronic injuries, or you are worried about injury, Fight Camp is good for you. Because you don't get a lot of injuries hitting pads.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that's just true. I've not seen any in the 4 times I've done it.
I haven't seen any. Couple of wrists maybe, but we just need to put the wraps on, and other than that, don't get a lot of injuries.
A couple of little bruises and
definitely. It's more knocks, isn't it? Bruises.
It's nothing bad, nothing at all.
To be fair, my shins are all bruised, but that's just from awesome kicks.
Yeah. Shins are bruised to kick him right.
Yeah.
So before we wrap it up then, if anyone is out there and they're listening to this and they're questioning whether it's for them or, they might be thinking of coming and having a go, what would you say to them?
I've been a long-term boot camper. I've done podcasts for boot camp. I've sang the praises of boot camp before, and I would put Fight Camp just that notch above I put Fight Camp at that notch above Boot Camp, most certainly. Don't even think about it. Just give it a go. You'll walk away at the end of the week feeling on top of the world.
Awesome. And yourself, Gem?
Yeah, give it a go. Anyone, it doesn't matter how unfit or fit you are, just give it your 100%, and not to blow Ash's head up any more than it already is, but he's actually a really good trainer.
Average at best.
Just really good. Remember, we've got one more day's training to go. I can't get my own back.
No, he's an amazing trainer, and he makes it fun, but he's got so much knowledge. That's one of the reasons I come here as well.
It's worth actually just talking about the variety within the program before we wrap it up, because it's so varied, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think about what we do, the mobility, the mindset, the walking, the fight conditioning, the strength and conditioning, there's so much there, isn't there? And
the stretches that you do is just, the stretch classes, the mobility, is unreal as well, aren't they, Mike?
They really are. I mean, some of the positions I've been in this week are kind of unbelievable. We could do a podcast just on that, and sell it in a few different genres, I suppose. But I just found the variety. It suits me. It is structured slightly differently to Boot Camp in the fact that it's 2 busy days and then a rest day. I find that really suits me.
Yeah, we get after it for 2 days, don't we?
Absolutely, and I find that suits me better. And I think the intensity of that really I respond to that a little more. But the variety within, as far as the conditioning goes, as far as the Tabata session goes, I mean, it keeps your mind working as well. It really it keeps you interested in the entire week. It's not all just about punching things.
No, that's it.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what's coming tomorrow. And as much as I'll go, when I'm looking at it, I know I'll love it at the end, and I know it'll give me a good result.
Suffering. Right, well, guys, you've been awesome. Thanks very much for doing this podcast. Just want to say a little bit about you two. Actually, you are a pleasure to train, and you're a pleasure to have in the group. And I know that everyone really appreciates you both. You've been great. Thanks, this week. Thank you very much.
Well, I know everyone appreciates you as a trainer, Ash, so back at you.
Because I'm a legend. Cheers, guys. Yeah. That was all right, wasn't it?